What if humans vanished right now? No warning, no trace, just gone. What would Earth look like in a week, a year, or even 10,000 years without us? Would cities crumble? Would nature take over? Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating thought experiments of our time. What would Earth look like without humans? Segment 1. The first 24 hours. In the first few hours after humans disappear, everything would appear normal. Lights would still shine. Planes on autopilot would continue their routes. Trains would keep running. But this illusion of normalcy would not last. Most power stations are controlled by humans and require regular maintenance. Without people, fossil fuel power plants would shut down within hours. Nuclear power plants would activate their automated safety systems, and most would safely power down. Solar and wind energy could last a bit longer, but eventually battery storage would fail. Within 24 hours, most of the world would be dark. Cities that never slept, silent and pitch black. Segment 2, 1 week later. By the end of the first week, our absence becomes more noticeable. Water treatment plants stop functioning, causing flooding in low-lying areas. Subway tunnels begin to flood as pumps fail. Domesticated pets face a grim reality. Cats might go feral. Dogs may band together to survive. Livestock like cows and chickens would either be preyed upon or wander into the wild. Plants begin reclaiming urban areas. In cracks of sidewalks, weeds sprout. Vines creep up the sides of buildings. With no humans to cut, spray, or pull them out, plants spread rapidly. The skies, now free from planes and pollution, start to clear. Segment 3, 1 year later. In 1 year, the built environment starts to fail. Without heating or climate control, buildings begin to deteriorate. Windows crack from temperature changes. Wood rots. Roofs collapse under the weight of snow or from water damage. Streets crumble as tree roots push through the pavement. Cities like New York or Tokyo would become wild zones where foxes, coyotes, or even larger animals could roam freely. Farms revert to wild fields. Wildlife populations boom. Birds reclaim areas once dominated by traffic. Predators return to regions from which they were once driven out. Segment 4, 10 to 100 years later. In a few decades, major landmarks begin to disappear. Without maintenance, steel rusts and concrete decays. The Eiffel Tower might collapse from corrosion. Bridges like the Golden Gate fall into the sea. Dam failures could reshape landscapes. Rivers would flood valleys, washing away towns. In colder climates, snow and ice break down remaining structures. However, some areas might become lush sanctuaries. Cities could transform into dense forests, swamps, or grasslands depending on the region. A cautionary note: not all is idyllic. Nuclear power plants that weren't safely shut down could leak radiation. Some might melt down, creating zones like modern-day Chernobyl. Ironically, even radioactive zones would become wild havens for animals over time. Segment 5, 10,000 years later. Nearly all traces of human civilization are gone. Steel buildings, collapsed and buried. Roads, long overtaken by forests and erosion. Satellites, either burned in the atmosphere or orbiting silently. What remains? Stone structures like pyramids or Mount Rushmore may survive in some form, maybe even fragments of the Great Wall of China. But for the most part, nature reclaims everything. The planet stabilizes, wildlife thrives, and Earth looks much like it did before we built cities. Need real-world proof? Look at Pripyat in Ukraine, abandoned after the Chernobyl disaster in 1986. In just 30-plus years, nature has overtaken entire neighborhoods. Trees grow through floors, and animals roam freely. Or consider Hashima Island in Japan, once a bustling mining town, now overtaken by vines and sea spray. It took less than 50 years to transform into a post-human jungle. Another example, the Korean Demilitarized Zone. Though it separates two hostile nations, it has become one of the most biodiverse areas on the Korean peninsula simply because humans stay out. So, what would Earth look like without us? Wild, free, and overwhelmingly alive. It's a humbling thought. All our progress, technology, and infrastructure gone in a blink. Yet nature endures. If this video gave you a new perspective on our planet, please hit the like button, share it with someone curious like you, and subscribe for more deep dives into the unknown.